Which free agent do you think the Niners will miss the most of the ones that they let walk?
Aaron Banks. No. No. I mean,
I
like I
was
said, like
surprised the
before,
Packers signed him because they often have really good offensive lines.
I guess not. I guess they didn't like their guards or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, but he didn't. He got I think 28 million or a little more guaranteed of his 77. So he didn't get a lot guaranteed, but that's still like
Yeah.
for a guy coming off a very down year, that was a little interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But how can anyone say that it's not Dre Greenlaw? I mean, you could probably say Charvarius Ward, but to me, I don't consider Ward because he was pretty much like at the exit interview, he pretty much said like, "I'm not gonna be here." Like the Magic Johnson, he pulled that on us. Which is like, yeah, hell yeah, I get why you're doing that, brother. You go find your peace. I'm happy for you. But Dre Greenlaw is the one where it's like, you guys had that chance. And, John Lynch spoke to you guys at the scouting combine and pretty much said, like, yeah, free agency, we're trying. And it's like, after seeing the contract the Broncos gave him, he only got $11.5 million guaranteed. Like, wait, that's not that much, for a guy who of what he could potentially be. I understand. I think they looked at it too much as the glass half empty versus glass half full kind of thing. They looked more on the negative side than too much of what he could be. And maybe it's because maybe it's their own doctors who said like, look, dude, like we can't keep playing him. Like maybe he gets more in shape and he'll play more games. But I'm wondering if they got that type of advice because that's pretty much how it's looked upon, right? Like they'll ask their doctors, not so much like what they personally always think. They'll ask like, what do you guys think? Like, hey, like he might still have some more games healthy in him, but we're not sure he's going to keep sustaining himself at this level. His body's going to keep shutting down, and if he gets hurt, then okay, yeah, the 49ers will look a little smart. I just think like if he ends up playing like 14 games next year, he's putting up 100 tackles, registers a couple turnovers, and all this stuff. Everyone's going to look back and like, why did the Niners not pay that guy? If he starts balling out with the Broncos, especially if you start looking at the Niners defense by week 10, it's like they're missing that energy. They're missing that tone center. They don't have no one. Charvarius Ward himself told me, oh, he's the motor of our defense. He's the motor of our defense. I think that's the one thing you cannot replace with Greenlaw. You could probably replace his production. Can you replace what he does from a mental, energy, emotional standpoint? Because I remember seeing that Rams game, everyone pretty much played better around him. I just think that's one they're going to really be kicking themselves like, damn, maybe we should have just ponied up a little bit instead of just waiting last minute.
I mean, I didn't want them to give him a multi-year deal, and when the Broncos did, I was like, wow, that's crazy. But when you look at it, only 1 year is guaranteed. So it's like it's a 1 year deal with like a couple of team options tacked on, essentially. And if that's the way you look at it, like 1 year, $11 million, man, that's not that much money for a guy who has big time upside. I mean, we saw that he still has all of his speed and explosion and violence following this injury. He just needs time to recover and like so that he can stay healthy. And I don't know that he will ever be able to stay healthy for 17 games again. I don't know. But if he does, dude, the Broncos just got a steal and you're not replacing that guy. And what's crazy about it is you could like you called up Greenlaw at the end to try to match the offer. You could have beat the offer if you had just cut Kyle Juszczyk and not re-signed him to a ridiculous contract. He's 34 years old and he doesn't touch the ball. Like there's no way that keeping Juszczyk is going to cushion the blow of losing Greenlaw if he ends up being merely healthy, merely himself. So yeah, that one's tough. Greenlaw. And then Hufanga as well, dude. Hufanga, again, all he needs to do is stay healthy, and that's a 25-year-old all-pro safety that the Broncos got for nothing. That's another one.
I don't think Hufanga's one. I'm glad he left.
He hasn't been able to stay healthy, really. He was hurt in college.
It's even aside from his health, dude. I hate the way he plays safety. He just has his angles are so ugly. Like the way he just shoots from his high safety zone. I know it looks cool when he makes those big plays, and he does. But I feel like he's a roller coaster, especially this past year. And maybe you could chalk it up and say, like, you know what? He never got to hit a stride. Okay, sure, fine.
Playing with one hand, yeah.
You can hit a stride, yeah. That's a little tough for sure. But I'm still on the side, like, you know what? I just don't think because he has it anymore. Because he's a roller coaster ride where he spends more time down on the roller coaster than he is up. Like his lows.
Especially the last 2 years for sure. And only just had that one special year. But like, really, the Broncos kind of bought low and took flyers. If you're on two guys who could make big impacts, while the Niners took a flyer on a blocking tight end.
If you're if you're the Broncos, that's a brilliant deal. Look, those two, especially the Greenlaw one, I think they'll look like it's like, wow, those are bargain deals of number one health
with upside. That's why I like the Mac Jones deal because it feels like there's real upside there as opposed to Luke Farrell. Best case scenario, he plays his position well, which is blocking well sometimes, and I don't even notice.
I just feel like of all the things you could have done, at least like, look, we're saving money, we're not going older. It's like Greenlaw, like yeah, he's not old. He was once like a really great player. Sure, we're kind of concerned about his body keeping up, but it's like he's got his Achilles torn and recovered already. You have McCaffrey, who's pretty much, is he even recovered from that? And then he's a running back, so it's like,
good point.
It's like you literally just saw one of your guys like almost tear both of them, and they're not torn, and it might, like, that's not an injury where it's like, oh yeah, it might just go. Maybe it does, but the worst part with Greenlaw's already gone. At least, like, I just forever think like, if that's a guy you just say like, he's been our guy, he's been our building, we know what he's meant to us, and production aside, he's beloved, and we know he can get. Imagine him around the youngsters you want to bring in for this draft class. That goes back to the veterans you're not signing in free agency. And I need to really start looking to see who they can probably sign, like one or two, like to a decent deal, and even so I can start naming these guys, not just pulling them out of my hat. But yeah, Greenlaw is a perfect guy. You draft a linebacker. That's who you want. That's who you want around. You want them around Drake Garland. Defensive line. That's who you want around the huddle. You want these guys to be around them. And then if you get rid of Greenlaw after a year or two, like, remember his first year's guarantee or whatever, it's pretty much a 1 year deal. That's great to be around there. Hey, what did you learn from Greenlaw? Oh God, dang, just heat seeker, all that energy. It's contagious.
And my question to you, Jose, is like, why is Greenlaw not seen as a core member of the team? Given, I mean, he was never a captain. They didn't bring him back. Why is Juszczyk seen as a core member of the team, the fullback, when Greenlaw wasn't? And to me, it seemed like he was more of a leader, more of a tone setter, more of a producer, just a flat out better player. How is that guy? I don't know. I asked my question.
No, yeah. When you put it under that microscope, it's like, yeah. Now I think that's where it goes. Like the re-signing of Juszczyk starts to be questionable. It's like, wait, so you re-sign him, and look, I'm not in agreement that Juszczyk was really worth a lot of money, but I guess in terms of like the logic of who you're bringing back, who you're choosing to bring back and let go,
that feels like roster politics.
Alone, cost aside, is like, wait, what? Like, how is that?
It just feels like roster politics, and we've heard players talk about this. I mean, we laugh at them when it's like, what's his face, Willie Snead or whatever, but like, this is kind of what we mean. Like, it's not necessarily a full blown meritocracy. It's a clique, and you're either in or you're out. And Greenlaw was out. He never was really in. Great player though.
And then two last things. I mean, number one, obviously, I saw Barrows talk about like, oh, maybe he wants to be the captain of his own ship. Like, okay, sure, maybe he did. But I mean, the fact that it comes to that Adam Schefter report that, hey, like, and they did persuade him, but not enough. So that means he was like, oh man. So that means to me, I take it as that if you're taking his word for face value, to me that says, okay, he would have came back if you guys didn't, nickel and dime him a little bit. So as much as he wants to be the captain,
stroke his ego a little bit, made him feel special the way they make Fred Warner feel special.
So that's that element. Yeah, of course, that can always be on the table.
The way they make Juszczyk feel special. How many press conferences do they throw Juszczyk in front of the microphone like he's the guy? Where was Greenlaw the last 5 years? He was better. He made really important plays on the Niners' Super Bowl runs. I mean, they're not even the number one seed in 2019 without Greenlaw. Not even close.
A lot of people always blame that Super Bowl loss because of Greenlaw's injury.
Right.
Exactly. Like, I don't. I think it was other things, but yeah, I think also
they might have won that game if Greenlaw could have stayed healthy. It's true.